In today's lesson, we'll cover how to complete a job application. Do you know how to correctly complete an application? First, we're going to cover what a job application is, the purpose of a job application, and how it differs from a resume. For some of you, this may be a review, but for others, this may be brand new. What is a job application? A job application is a form that employers ask job applicants to fill out to learn about their work history. Employers use job applications because they provide a consistent format with the same questions that must be answered by each person who applies for an open position. Employers can easily compare the background and work experience of each applicant. What is the main purpose of a job application? For most employers, the main purpose of the application is to obtain verifiable information about job seekers, such as their contact information, eligibility to work in the United States, degrees, licenses, skills, qualifications, employment history, and a list of references. How is a job application different from a resume? A job application is a standardized form, while your resume is unique. An application contains basic information that your employer will read quickly, but your resume is your chance to shine and highlight your most important skills and experiences. When completing a job application, you will need various other resources that contain the information that you'll be requesting in the application process. Some of the resources or documents you may need are your resume, a cover letter, a list of jobs you have had, employment references, and school or college transcripts. As we continue, we will discuss where each item is needed in the process of completing your application. Now let's talk about each of the sections of an application. I want to point out that various sections may be titled differently from company to company. You will note this as you apply for various jobs. The sections we will be covering are applicant information or personal information, position desired and general work preferences, employment eligibility, education, other skills, previous employment or work history, military service, references, and disclaimer and signature. Applicant information and personal information. In this section, you, the applicant, will provide your name, address, contact information such as email and telephone number. Applicant personal information can be found on a resume. Sometimes this section also includes questions like the position you're applying for, dates available, desired salary, questions about your citizenship status, authorization to work in the United States, previous employment with the company, and criminal or felony background information. Position desired and general work preferences. In this section, you, as the applicant, can select information as to hours, time of day, select various shifts you're willing to work, and whether you want to be considered for part-time, full-time, regular, or temporary work. This section can also include information about whether you're authorized to work in the United States on an unrestricted basis and can include questions as to whether you have ever been convicted of a felony and requesting an explanation. It can also include a section where you list the positions you are applying for, date you can start, desired salary, whether you're employed or if the employer can contact your present employer to verify employment or for a reference. There may also be a question that asks if you have ever applied to the company before, and a question that asks if you were referred by anyone for the job. It's important to note that these questions may show up in other places, and you should be prepared to respond to them. There may be a completely separate section for employment eligibility. This section asks several questions about the applicants, your employment eligibility. Some questions you may encounter are you legally eligible to work in the United States? Have you ever worked for this employer? If yes, you will be asked to provide start and end dates. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? If yes, you will be asked to explain. The education section is where you, as an applicant, provide information as to where you receive your high school, college degrees, vocational or technical programs, military training, or other education. You should be prepared to provide the names of schools, dates attended, graduation dates, and types of diploma or degree earned. As you can see from the example provided, this particular section may also be called qualifications, where the applicant is asked to provide education and training that you feel relates to the position being applied for. Education information can be found on a resume and on education transcripts. In the general skills and other skills section, you may be asked to list subjects of specialty, special skills, or activities you participated in. This section is where you would list any special skills or experience you feel would be helpful in the position you're applying for. It's important to note that you should exclude listing organizations in which the name indicates race, creed, sex, age, marital status, color, or national origin of its members. Also note that if you've been out of school or college for quite a while, it's not necessary to list clubs or organizations from your high school or college days. General and other skills can be found on a resume. The previous employment or work history section is where you will list all of your prior work history. You should be prepared to provide the company name, address, telephone number, and name of your supervisor, job title, start and end dates, reason for leaving, and responsibilities or description of the work that you did with the employer. The application form may contain a field for starting salary, ending salary, or current salary. You're under no obligation to tell a prospective employer your current salary. You have several options. Leave the field blank, put a 0 or no in the field, or enter NA for not appropriate or not applicable. Previous employment or work history can be found on your resume or on a separate list of jobs. Military service. In this section, individuals will list information about the military service. If applicable, you should provide the branch of service, dates of service, rank at discharge, type of discharge, and an explanation for anything other than honorable. If military service is not applicable, enter NA for not applicable. Information about military service can be obtained from a DD-214 or on a resume. Once hired, individuals with military service may be asked to provide a copy of their DD-214. Employers will ask for professional references. You should have a list that includes individuals that can provide a reference for you. If you do not have professional references, you can provide personal references. The individuals that provide a reference should not be related to you. When listing references, you need their full name, the relationship to you, meaning how you know this person, address, email address, and telephone number. References can be found on your reference document. Note that references do not need to be included on a resume and should only be provided when required. In the disclaimer and signature section, you are required to sign and date. By signing and dating the application, you are certifying that all of the answers you provided are true and complete to the best of your knowledge. Keep in mind that providing any false or misleading information in your application or interview may lead to release or loss of employment. We just covered each section of an application. Please keep in mind that not all applications are alike and that some of the sections may be combined. So let's review the sections again. Application information, applicant information and personal information, position desired and general, work preferences, employment eligibility, education, other skills, previous employment or work history, military service, references, and disclaimer and signatures. It is now time to practice completing your own application on paper. An application has been provided in the resource section of this course. You can also practice online at the following website. If you feel the need to review applications or useful information for applying for jobs, you can get more information by going to Job Applications page at GCF Learn Free at the following website. Now get out there and make an impact.